Hi, this is Trevor Conquergood. Welcome to this week's RNK Software Club's video for the week. And our topic for this week is how to convert SVG artwork into stitches. And so if you're ready to get started, let's bring my workspace nice and large. And I'm going to use my designs and library tab to browse through this folder that has all kinds of different files. And that's one of the things I love about our browser over on the right is that I can see an SVG image. I can see a JPEG image. I can see embroidery formats like JEF or WAF. And essentially, whatever you want to open, you simply select and then drag onto your workspace. And just notice that this sewing machine is an SVG file. And so I'll go ahead and bring that SVG file onto my workspace. And you'll notice right away that it is actually something that I can select. There's actually an embroidery, or I guess an artwork file. I can see in the sequence view that, all of the colors have shapes. And essentially, I could convert this into embroidery pretty quickly. If I click here to select all of these shapes, then it's down at the bottom. This is how you convert artwork into embroidery. And every one of the buttons at the bottom would be another style of embroidery that I could add to these shapes. Now, if I click on, for example, run, it will convert the entire design into a run stitch embroidery design. And it's easy to, resize it. But typically when I convert a design like this, I don't necessarily want it all to be run. Maybe I want to select all the items and click on fill, and now they're all filled in items. But typically I convert them kind of more on a piece by piece basis, because then I can choose different styles of embroidery. So for example, I could click on just the color silver, which would select, from shape number 3 down here to shape number 8, all of those are now selected. And I could come down to the bottom and I'll choose this one here, auto satin. And so you'll see that now those become satin stitch elements in the design as opposed to a fill. And so really the answer to the question, how do you convert SVG into stitches, is simply to open it, to select whatever shape you want to convert. Now, right now I've selected kind of like all of them, but if I want to ungroup them when they're selected like this, I can use my ungroup tool. I'll find that either here on the floating toolbar or up here in the main tool group, but I can choose ungroup. And so that would enable me to click on any one individual element on my screen and decide which kind of embroidery. Maybe we want to do an applique for this big blue sewing machine shape. And so we click on the applique tool, and now the artwork is converted into an applique. And essentially, you can change the style of stitching by simply clicking on any part of the design and selecting on any one of the items below. And so notice, for example, if I click on this yellow star, it says artwork, and that actually converts the blue sewing machine body back into a solid piece of artwork. It shows it as outlined, but there's a paint bucket here. You could show it filled in, or you can show it as an outline in any width, but that's simply an artwork outline, and not an actual filled in. So in other words, it's not embroidery stitches. If you want to convert it into embroidery stitches, you can come down to the bottom, click on any one. So this will be a standard fill, and it fills it in with stitches. And once again, the yellow star is the artwork button, which is almost like an eraser to go right back. I could select this entire design, click on the star, and I would go right back to artwork. They're all outlined artwork, but if I, choose to fill them, then they're almost right back to the beginning again. And so the idea is you simply open the SVG artwork, you select any portion of it, and then you can come to the bottom and explore all of the different cool styles of embroidery. And so it doesn't take long to convert a design like this into embroidery. And it can be kind of fun because there may be elements where you can enjoy cool techniques, like, for example, a fancy fill, and that gives a texture to where the thread and the sewing spool is. And for the black color, maybe you want to do the satin stitches because they're quite small, but maybe for the machine you want to do a larger sort of standard fill. But that's not to say that you couldn't do a fancy motif fill. And so really it's up to you. And they're often referred to as the one-click wonders, because once you have an artwork shape, you can simply come to the bottom and choose which style of embroidery that you want that shape to be. And as you can see, there's a wide variety of styles of embroidery to choose from. And so it's a great way to explore them. Now, SVG artwork is really only one way to get artwork. Just another example would be to use your text tool, where we have the import true type fonts as artwork. And if I come in here, and of course you can type in the text that you want, and you can choose a font, and now they're going to be browsing from your Windows fonts. And when you say okay, then it will import whatever you've asked for as artwork. And so this is the same as what you could consider SVG artwork. And so if I wanted to convert the word sewing into embroidery, I would come down to the bottom and I can make it all a run stitch, or I can make it all a standard fill, which would give it all one sort of smooth sewing direction. Or I could try the auto satin, and then the software will create all of the turning angles and different directions for those artwork shapes. And so this has been a video about how do you convert SVG artwork into embroidery. And so I hope you've enjoyed this week's RNK Software Club's video for the week. Until next week, thanks for watching, and bye for now.